All right. Hey guys, we're just going to give everyone a second to log in and then we'll start the show. Got a big crowd today, so I expect to see a lot of great questions come through. All right, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're joining us from today. Welcome to today's webinar, co-hosted by the New York Oracle User Group and Oracle partner Viscosity North America. We've got a great presentation today on Oracle 23C, and I hope you guys take advantage of this live webinar. Use the Q&A field, and our presenter today, Charles Kim, will get to you as he can or following the webinar. So yes, don't forget this is live. It is recorded, so you will get a link after it's uploaded online to either nyoug.org or to orapub.com. You'll get a link and how to rewatch it, also with a slide deck. So stay tuned for that. Watch out in your email, in your inbox, for a heads up for that. But I'm super excited to be here today. My name is Monica Lee. I'm the marketing director for Viscosity North America. We are a full Oracle stack consulting firm with core expertise in Oracle database, including RAC, Oracle Apex. We do perform near zero downtime migrations for our clients, lots of performance tuning and high availability projects for them as well. And we've got decades of experience with infrastructure, including engineered systems. So we have been preparing our customers for Oracle Database 23C. And so hopefully you're going to learn a lot more today about that. And if you do need help or more assistance with figuring out how to prepare your organization for that, let us know. We're happy to help you. Otherwise, we host these monthly workshops, webinars, all sorts of free resources for you guys, and you can see them all through orapub.com. So co-hosting with me today is Coleman Leviter from the NYOUG board. Coleman's going to tell us a little bit about NYOUG. I'll quickly introduce Viscosity to you, and then we'll get started.
Thank you, Monica. So the New York Oracle Users Group was formed in 1984, many years for the exchange of ideas, assistance, and support among users of Oracle software products. Next slide, please. You can connect with us we'll have to change that, on X, Meta, LinkedIn, Facebook, and of course our website is nyoug.org. And I just want to thank Viscosity for co-hosting these series of webinars with us. It's going on 4 years already.
Wow.
Seems like just yesterday.
It truly does.
Coincides with March of 2020.
That's right.
The date cemented in everybody's mind. Anyway, thank you again, Monica.
Of course, it's been a pleasure. And so if you have been with us for those 4 years, I'm sure you're very familiar with us now. But if you're new, I do want to introduce you to Viscosity a little bit. We are based on 3 main pillars: data, apps, and cloud and infrastructure. So if anything here resonates with any needs you have, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help get you connected with someone on our team. And if you look across the bottom in gray, we offer all of these things across all 3 pillars. So definitely check that out. On this slide, this is some of our executive management and consultants. If you're familiar with any of them, maybe you've got their books, maybe you've seen them present in sessions. These are our Oracle aces on our team. And we're very proud to be a community, like a heavily involved in the community type of company. So you can almost always find one of our folks at an Oracle user group, webinar, presentation in person, conference, etc. Sometimes these guys even travel abroad, so it goes even beyond the US. They're constantly writing and presenting on Oracle technologies, so definitely check them out. Follow them on X if you don't already, or LinkedIn, and you can find them here presenting for us today, such as Charles. So I just like to highlight that because they are part of a great community of technologists who like to share their knowledge with users like you guys. All right, on this page, I really normally like to just point out Oracle License Management. We have had a lot of experience with license management, and we actually have a couple people on our team who used to do that for Oracle. So I always recommend to people I meet at all the conferences, if you have a partner you like, I would highly recommend always going to them first for any time you are buying new Oracle products or you need to do some kind of refresh or whatnot. So we want to help protect you from audits. We want to make sure you're purchasing only what you need. And then we also like to follow through and make sure you're taking advantage of that investment. So you owe it to yourselves and your company to make sure that you're using the right stuff. All right. On this page, just a little highlight of a couple of our books. Newest ones are going to be Oracle Database Performance Tuning, Upgrading Oracle Databases, and Oracle on Docker. We typically have updates to these in blue around Oracle Cloud World time. So stay tuned for that later this year. And I think Sean Scott over here, I think he's working on another new book with A-Press. So that's super exciting. Okay, almost done. If you are new or if you haven't even joined AuraPub yet, make sure you go make a free membership there. That's where Viscosity houses all of their recordings. Even slide decks, if we don't do a virtual presentation, slide decks to things that we present at conferences are all housed there. You can find so many free resources there, and there's also paid memberships as well. I highly recommend seeing if your organization is willing to reimburse you for that. It's not too expensive either, but check out the 3 tiers we have that are for paid options. And with paid options, you just get a couple more perks, such as additional webinars. We're starting an office hour session with Oracle PMs, and you've also got discounts to our virtual training. Another thing I want to point out is at AuraPub right now, you can actually take advantage of Surfer Shane. Shane AI has been created by AuraPub founder Craig Shalahammer. He's also our applied AI scientist at Viscosity. And Shane is currently live for paid and free members. You can ask Shane anything you need to know about Oracle performance. However, what you see right now, Shane is going through a makeover right now, both aesthetically and technically. So we're going to be very excited to debut more updates to Shane. Shane basically has access to all of Viscosity webinars, our white papers, our books, you name it, even like standard Oracle documents out there. He's read them all too. So you can definitely bother Shane about all that stuff right now. And then later this year, you'll have Shane 2.0 at your fingertips. So check that out and stay tuned for more events at events.viscosityna.com. We've got a lot more things, especially with NYOUG already posted. So hopefully you guys come back and hang out with us. All right. I think that's all I've got. So I'm going to turn it back over to Coleman. And Charles, I'll let you get your slides up.
Right.
Thank you, Monica. So Charles has co-authored over 10 books around the Oracle ecosystem. He's an Oracle ACE Director, VMware expert, an Oracle Certified DBA, a certified Exadata specialist, and a certified Oracle Linux, Oracle Cloud, and RAC expert. Charles was selected into the Oracle ACE program on May 2008 and became an Oracle ACE Director as of December 2009. Charles became a VMware expert in the class of 2013. And again, thank you, Viscosity, for co-hosting these series of webinars with the New York Oracle users.
All right. Thank you for having us. Before I start, as Monica mentioned about Surfer Shane, Craig and team are actually working on that right now. And we're going to actually punch out from AuraPub into another domain that we acquired called surfershane.ai. And that will be much better, like Monica said, a revamped next evolution of our AI for performance tuning questions on Oracle. And with it, we're developing it with a platform that allows us to create a nice mobile app on top of that. So there'll be a mobile app that's going to be available, and also a nice and upscale version of the AI platform. And so basically, we do punch out to, ChatGPT, but also now with Oracle's innovation with partnerships with Cohere, we're going to be doing some of that, as well as leveraging the whole generative AI features of Oracle Cloud. And most importantly, we will be leveraging both autonomous as well as MySQL. MySQL has a feature that's going to come out called Vector Store. And obviously, you guys have heard a lot about the vector data type and the vector search that's available in Autonomous, or will be available. Right now, it's for preview for certain customers that elect to participate in the program. And so with that in mind, I'm going to start our presentation on preparing for Oracle Database 23C. I actually created a safe harbor statement because I was in Australia and just about everybody seemed to have one. And so I have one about presentation I'm giving today. The only thing that's outside of what Coleman was graciously able to provide intro for, we are a platinum partner with Oracle, but also we've been a platinum partner with Quest. We do all of the professional services for Quest SharePlex. And so if you know about data replication, there's 4 major vendors in this space. Golden Gate is the leader. And then obviously we have Quest SharePlex. We have Attunity, which is now which was acquired by Click. And then we have Fivetran, HVR, which was acquired by Fivetran. And so those are the 4 major data replication tools. And we use those platforms mainly to perform zero downtime upgrades and zero downtime migrations to cloud and to other data centers. We do have 4 of the 22 ACE directors in the United States. I actually had a meeting with Sean yesterday, and we're actually looking at the ACE directors in the United States. And we were like, oh my gosh, there's only 22 ACE directors in the United States. And we just happen to have 4 of the 22. Look out for our upcoming book on both the database performance tuning book as well as the upgrading Oracle database. When we titled both of these books, we intentionally left out the versions so that we can update them for 23C. Both of the versions are right now updated for 19C, and the subtitles, we'll actually modify them to be 23C. So one thing that we learned about self-publishing and is that you can't change the title, but they let you change the subtitle. And so look out for these books as we get closer to Cloud World in September. All right, let's talk about the evolution of the Oracle DBA. I started out as a DBA back in 1991. So that kind of dates me. But from a DBA perspective, back then, it was all command line, right? It wasn't just about SQL Plus, but there was, a SQL DBA prompt that we had to go to. And we had to know a lot about the Unix, as well as the Oracle environment, as well as PL SQL, as well as complex SQL back in those days. And as we evolved, we're now more from a skill set perspective, more modular, more fine-tuned, more fine-grained in the areas that we specialize in. And now there's many databases out there. I mean, even in the relational database world, it's Oracle, Microsoft. You have, Mongo, Yugobytes. There's so many different data, Postgres, MySQL. And within each one of those, you have different flavors of those as well. And so we tend to be more specialized nowadays, but as we anticipate for the upcoming 23C release of Oracle for on-premise customers, we're going to be looking at this concept of a converged database. And so, and us as database administrators or developers, or architects, where our role is changing too. And so now we're looking at to be more of a converged DBA type, right? Because with 23C, Oracle Autonomous Database, Oracle is guaranteeing things like, MongoDB compatibility within the database. We not only do we have binary JSON inside the database now, we also have JSON duality, the ability for us to look at that data as JSON, but also be able to, Oracle automatically converts that data into a relational view, so you can actually write regular queries against it. And so uh, spatial is now a part of the database now. We have the graph data database that's going to be coming out for on-premise with GraphQL. We have the vector data type that's going to be part of the 23C release that's coming out and anticipated sometime this summer. And so as the database evolves more, and there's a lot more ML capability inside the database, as well as a lot of the AI capabilities inside the database. Our role and our responsibilities are going to evolve. And if you look at the release dates, right? 21C came out in August of 2021. 23C became available GA in Oracle Cloud, and they call that the base edition. And so that was September of 2023. And even though 23C is supposed to be the year 23, but we anticipate 23C to be sometime mid 2024. I'm gonna actually stop the video so they can concentrate on the slides. All right, so let's talk about this slide. I actually updated this slide specifically for the New York Oracle User Group. And so there's lots of information on this slide that's relevant. If you look at 19C, Oracle extended the quote unquote premier support, but basically what they did was they're giving us 2 years of extended support for free. So all customers will have support on 19C until April 30th of 2026. A few months ago, if you were to look at this slide, it would actually say 2025. So this update's recent. Original was 2024, so you can actually see that there's been 2 years of extended support that's been given to everybody. But if you look at the end of the extended support, it still ends in 2027. So once this ends in 2027, we're going to be going into market-driven support, just like what 11.204 and 12.102 went to. Now, the question is really, will Oracle extend the extended support? We don't know. But at this point, the messaging is that they're giving us 2 years of free extended support for all the customers. And because for 21C customers, they have nowhere to go to, 21C customers also got another year of Premier support for free. 21C is considered to be an innovation release, and innovation releases do not have Premier support. Also, innovation releases only get 2 years of Premier support versus the long-term releases, which is 19C and 11.204. They get 5 years of Premier support with 3 years of extended support, right? So 23C is the next long-term release, and it will have 5 years of Premier support plus another 3 years of extended support. So they're anticipating that the patching end date for 23C will be 2032. So a lot of customers are looking going from 19C to 23C. As we talk about upgrading, what are the top reasons why customers upgrade? And obviously, the most important ones are for new and improved database features. And in fact, with 23C and with AI, and there's so much innovation happening with the 23C release that I believe a lot of customers will jump sooner than later, right? At least some of their key databases that are servicing their customers. And so obviously security is another big one. With 23C, there's a lot more security enhancements like database firewall, the ability for you to create a a baseline of all your SQL statements that's going to be allowed to run on that database. And then from that point on, you can disable all other future statements that coming inside the database. And basically you whitelisted the allowable SQL statements. And from time to time, or from each application release, you will actually whitelist individual or group of SQL statements going forward. A lot more enhancements in performance in 23C as well. A lot more enhancements in high availability, and I'll go through some of those as well. Security is right now an ever big concern, mainly because there's the amount of cyber attacks happening. More and more companies are, including us from a consulting perspective, we have to fill out so much more paperwork on data privacy that we've never had to do in the past. And from a whether you're a publicly traded company to a financial customer or healthcare customer, the level of regulations have just increased exponentially since the pandemic. And obviously, a lot of customers want to attract talented people, and because nobody wants to work for a dinosaur company. So from a consideration perspective, there's lots of questions you have to ask. And the biggest one is, how long does it take your organization to upgrade to the newer release of the database? And it really depends. The larger the company, the longer it takes. The amount of time it takes to go from development to QA, to UAT, to pre-production, to hot fix. I mean, there are companies out there that have 3, 4 development environments. They have separate code streams for different application releases, and even QA, multiple code streams that go into there. Some customers have multiple pre-prods and then they have hotfix environments, then DR environments that they have to update, then finally the prod. And some customers take 2-3 years to do the upgrade. We have customers out, they'll upgrade from, the entire environment, dev, QA, everything in 2-3 months. And it really depends on the complexity of the application and how much their QA department gets involved. And we have customers, as they upgraded to 19C, they were in a time crunch and they couldn't afford the downtime, and they're still in non-containerized databases. And so if we were to take I would love to take a show of hands and ask how many people have upgraded to 19C already, and how many have already adopted pluggable databases. And so these customers who have not gone to PDBs, as they take on the 23C journey, they have to go double the upgrade path. So they have to upgrade and deal with the SQL enhancements and whatnot, but also deal with the challenges of pluggable databases. And as we talk with customers, we want to encourage them to adopt the new features, but also be strategic in terms of what features that they adopt along the way. And most customers, as they upgrade from 11.2 to or 12.1 to 19C, it was time for them to also do hardware refreshes. And this becomes another question in terms of, as I modernize my stack, does it make sense for me to migrate to the cloud? Or am I going to just upgrade my hardware stack? And the thing is, even from a hardware perspective, the amount of cores that's available and the amount of memory that's available, that was available in 12.1, 11.2 days, and the amount of cores that's available now, it's a factor of sometimes, for some customers, 4x or even 10x the number of cores that's available. And obviously, as some customers, they've gotten bitten over the years with upgrades, and they have challenges that they remember. And so it becomes even more difficult for them to upgrade. And it's not just about upgrading the database. You have to upgrade the applications as well. We help customers upgrade a lot of the EBS databases to 19C. And with eBusiness Suite, it's the only environment, as you upgrade to 19C, you must be pluggable. So EBS only supports pluggable databases on 19C, but there's also additional patches that may need to be applied in the database environment as well as the application stack. And so we work with customers in updating not just the database side, as well as the app stack as well. And we always tell our customers, as you upgrade, tried to upgrade the JDBC drivers as well as the ODBC drivers ahead of time. And for some customers, they do, they get into a situation with the chicken and the egg. And we have some of those really complex environments where when we were upgrading customers from 9i to 11.2, they couldn't go to 12.2 because they were using older drivers, and we had issues along the way. And that's when we work out a roadmap and strategy with them. And that's the same scenario as we upgrade to 23C as well. And database links are crucial. If you have a heavily entrenched network of database links, upgrading one environment first, especially if you're doing without the remote hints and using database hints on older database links against older versions of databases, queries behave a little differently. And we have, especially in mission critical environments, had queries that we had to go refactor as well as start working additional baselines and working on the query tuning. Heterogeneous services are getting more and more popular with customers. The ability for us to create a database link from Oracle to SQL Server. Now, as you deal with autonomous database, for example, you can create a heterogeneous service against any kind of database, Snowflake to MySQL to Mongo even. And so the heterogeneous services are more prevalent now than ever. And obviously, as we upgrade, we have to look at skill sets of being able to support after the upgrade. And we have to always think about backup plans, and do we have or have we tested enough in our environment? All right, so how do we get to 23C? From a upgrade from previous releases, you cannot go from 11G, 12.1, 12.2, or 18C directly to 23C. You must go to 19C or 21C before we can jump to 23C. And so there are some customers that were waiting to upgrade, and they were thinking, oh, maybe I can go from 12.1 to 23C. Well, you're gonna have to first upgrade to 19C or 21C first, and then upgrade to 23C. We're gonna just tell our customers to do all the upgrades to 19C because 21C, as you saw, it has one more year of support, whereas 19C is gonna have a lot more years left. So another example would be, what if I'm on 11.203? Well, first you're gonna have to go to 11.204 with additional PSUs on the 11.204, then jump to 19C, and then jump to 23C. A lot of people did not advance their compatible parameter. So we had probably 10 to 20% of our customers, as they upgraded to 19C, they kept their compatible to whatever version they were on before. And it was mainly because, again, they didn't want to deal with the additional level of testing of their queries. But the minimal compatible value for 23C is 19.0. And we would strongly recommend that if you're upgrading to 23C, consider setting or advancing the compatible parameter to 23.0. And obviously, if you create a new database, you should always accept the 23.0 default compatible parameter. There's numerous ways of performing the upgrade or upgrade methods. Obviously, if you're doing export import, you can go from an older version, 11.204, directly to 23C. Most customers cannot afford that downtime. Now, if you have tools like SharePlex or Golden Gate, you can do an export and import with near zero downtime. When we leverage tools like Golden Gate or SharePlex, we don't talk to our customers about downtime. The word downtime is rarely mentioned. We actually use the words quiesce. So we quiesce the database to get a clean SCN number for the export. And then we can perform the import, take all the time that we need, and we begin the replication from the SCN number itself. A lot of customers still prefer to use CAD upgrade, or I have a group of DBAs that love using DBUA, and DBUA GUI is one option, but I strongly do not encourage or discourage DBUA from a UI perspective. Our DBAs who do use DBUA, I encourage them to use the silent option. And everybody else have already embraced auto upgrade and are fully immersed with doing database upgrades with auto upgrade. I don't know if you guys heard this or not. At Oracle Cloud World, Oracle made the announcement that DBUA and the command line options are deprecated. So going forward, they will only promote auto upgrade. So the word deprecated is different than desupported, meaning that DBUA as well as the command line will continue to be desupported. But just like any other announcement that they make, eventually those two products will become desupported. Another popular thing that we do with a lot of our customers is we introduce this concept of reverse replication. And some executives love this insurance policy. This is basically as we upgrade customers from, let's say, 11.204 to 19C or 19C to 23C, right before we open the database for cutover, we flip the replication back. So now the new target is the source and the original source is the target, and everything that you entered in the new release will be replicated to the old environment. And so let's say that you miss a batch job, or let's say performance just goes down the toilet because you missed testing certain features. We can reset all the DNSs and all the app servers back to the old environment, and you will have zero data loss. And so we do this for some of our customers who really, really want the additional level of insurance policy. And lastly, transportable table space is one option to do a upgrade as well. I'm sorry, that wasn't the last. Last one is actually the transient logical standby. This feature was introduced in 11.1. And in 12.1, Oracle introduced the packages called DBMS rolling to make the transient logical approach easier. So basically, what that happens is that you actually convert for a short period of time, thus transient, from physical to logical, and it allows you to do SQL-based replication and to be able to do that database upgrade with near zero downtime. So I'm going to, I have a slide here. This is specifically around SharePlex, and I'm not going to go over it, but it's a high level, actually very detailed level approach of how we actually do a zero downtime upgrade and migration of a database from one data center to another data center. And everything's around SCN. And so we capture the SCN, and then we stage the data, let the replication happen. And along the way, once the database upgrade or export import is done, then we allow the replication to continue. And once the data is finally caught up, then we actually open the database for our end users. In addition, along the way, we perform not only metadata level comparisons, but also row comparisons as well. There's actually a package called DBMS comparison. So you can actually do fine level granular data comparisons if you need, but that takes a lot more time. So what we do with most of our customers is we go on the entire database and we do row count validations as a validation check for us. All right, so like I mentioned before, Oracle recommends, and so do we, that 19C is where you should be now, and when 23 comes available, upgrade that. So there's a concept of what we call terminal release to terminal release upgrade customers. And this is pretty much, I think, what's prevalent in the industry. Most customers will go from the terminal release of, for example, 11.2 to the terminal release of 12.1 to the terminal release, in this case, was 19C, and the terminal release is going to be 23C. Last year, Oracle also announced this concept of monthly recommended patches. Started in November 22. So I'm sorry, it was actually over a year ago. And so it's only for Linux platforms. And the whole idea was that some of our mission critical customers could not wait for quarters, for the next quarter, for certain fixes to be made. And as we also recommend N-1 to most of our customers, they couldn't wait, wait it out. And so Oracle is now offering for Linux customers monthly patches. And we actually have customers that patch not only Linux, but also trying to push us to now doing monthly, which we push back with our customers on monthly because there's so much level of upgrades that we've got to do. All right, so there's one note that you need to know, 555.1, and that's Oracle made it super easy. And it puts you in front of all the MRPs, RURs, and the recommended patches. And you can read the rest of it in terms of the checklists for upgrading databases, using DBUA, command line, and whatnot. All right, let's talk about what we're going to lose from a functionality perspective. We'll talk about 19C first. As you guys know, the support for DBMS job went away. It's only there, again, it's deprecated. It's only there for backwards compatibility. And eventually there will be a desupport and we'll have to be forced to DBMS scheduler. Oracle Media is completely not supported. Oracle Streams is completely not supported. The recommendation, again, is to go with Golden Gate, Quest, SharePlex, HVR, etc. Rack on Standard Edition is no longer supported in 19C. The recommendation is mainly to go either to Enterprise Edition or to go to Cloud or to go to what we call Standard Edition High Availability. That's available in Oracle Database Appliance. Let's talk about what's deprecated in 21C. They deprecated traditional auditing. So now we must go into, instead of the traditional auditing, now we have to go into unified auditing. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I had that brain fart. And also with 21C, they announced deprecation of policy managed databases, TLS 1.0, 1.1. Again, these deprecation is more of an announcement, right? Deprecation of the wallet management, OLAP, GIMR, what we call Grid Infrastructure Management Repository. It was actually a requirement in 12.1, and now it's actually deprecated now. They also deprecated QoS management. And now what became desupported was like Oracle Oracle Failsafe on Windows, desupported $V object usage. Now they're telling you to use user object usage instead. Remote always authent is desupported. Obviously the non-CDB databases, ACFS on Windows, verify function is now upgraded and using the latest version. A lot of people suffered from the Adobe Flash on OEM. They had to upgrade that. And obviously DBMS obfuscation toolkit is supported and replaced with DBMS crypto. 23C, DBUA, like I mentioned before, plus command line, a CAT upgrade is deprecated. Oracle PMM is deprecated as well. Mixed store command line utility now is Oracle PKI. DB result cache is desupported. Export utility is desupported. Obviously, import will continue to be around for obvious reasons. Enterprise Manager Express is now desupported. Like I mentioned before, in 21C, TLS 1.0, 1.1 was deprecated. Now it's desupported. And all 32-bit clients are desupported, and traditional auditing is now desupported. With traditional auditing, there's a doc ID 2909718.1. It will actually generate audit policies based on your current audit configuration. So that could be something that you use as you convert from traditional auditing to unified auditing. And we recommend that you do that before you upgrade. And so have those things in place ahead of time. Now at 23C, we can do audit of individual columns for tables and views now. And a key thing that we recommend to our customers is this: as you upgrade, the security policies of the database at the database level changes from each release, meaning that the security policy that was there in 11.2 or 12.1 is different than the security policy that's in 19C. It's also different. It will be different to what's there in 23C. So go look at the Aura Secure login, and you can actually see the new enhancements or the new additional base security features that Oracle has incorporated. And the key thing is, as you upgrade, Oracle does not run these new scripts automatically. And so you, as the DBA or the architect, as you upgrade to each release, look at the security features for that release and execute them out for yourselves. And another thing that we recommend is DB DB Security Assessment Tool. Always download and execute them before and after as part of your routine things that you do. All right, let's talk about pluggable databases. As you guys know, with 21C, you must be in a pluggable environment. So this is the first CDB only release, and going forward, everything has to be there. With it, you get 3 pluggable databases for free. And this can change how we do upgrades, migration, and how we do patches. And I'll explain that a little bit. But more so, as you do 3 pluggable databases, there's a parameter called max PDBs. Set that to 3. Don't get in trouble by having more than 3 pluggable databases. As you guys know, with most of Oracle features, they don't stop you from using it. So you have to put that constraint yourself manually. So pluggable databases were introduced in 12.1. Back in 12.1, we had to make the pluggable databases, put it in read-only mode to do a clone. So basically, it ended up being a cold clone in 12.1. In 12.2, however, Oracle allowed us to do a hot clone, just like we do a equivalent to a hot backup and restore kind of concept. And in fact, at the last Open World in 2019, Larry Ellison did a live demo migrating a pluggable database from on-premise to Oracle Cloud. And with that, they also introduced in 12.2 this concept of relocate. So now as long as you have the latest version of JDBC or the client, you can actually associate your application with your pluggable database. And as your pluggable database moves from one container to another container, your application will follow. The idea of a refreshable pluggable database is a 12.2 feature as well. Think of a materialized view. We can, from a materialized view perspective, refresh that materialized view every minute, every hour, once a day kind of concept. Now think about being able to do that at the pluggable database world. So we can create a pluggable database that is going to refresh off of another pluggable database, but in a different data center or even to the cloud. And the whole idea is that it's read-only, and while it's refreshing, it puts itself into mount mode, pulls in all the archive logs. So it actually will go connect to the source, suck all the archives, and then it'll apply them. And once it's caught up, it'll open itself back up as a read-only pluggable database. So that's called a refreshable pluggable database. But with a refreshable pluggable database, we have the, it has to go back to the source and pull all the archive logs. And so it's an active data guard license, but when it's in read-only mode, you can actually tell the pluggable database to create a refresh local repository. So while it's in read-only mode, archive logs will ship. And so during the refresh time, only thing it does is puts itself in mount mode and applies all the archive logs that's in the repository. Obviously, with refreshable pluggable database in 18C, Oracle gave us the capability to do a switchover at the PDB level. Prior to this, switchovers happened at the container level. Now we can do switchovers at the PDB level. The snapshot carousel, which is only available in the engineer systems and cloud, in the engineer system side, allows us to create, leveraging refreshable pluggable databases, snapshots of refreshable databases. So it uses the thin cloning technologies, and we're able to create up to 7 snapshots of the refreshable pluggable database. So proxy PDBs, obviously, we can set a proxy and have it point to the pluggable database in a different data center or even the cloud. So the idea was, if I'm doing a data center migration, for example, and I'm moving my all my pluggables from data center A to data center B, I can leave proxies there in the original data center that point to all the new target pluggable databases. Now, PDB archives are more in terms of, I can take a pluggable and basically it's like a code clone, but think of it as a zip file. I can actually create a zip file of a pluggable database, give it to you, you'll have everything you need to be able to plug that database back into any other container. Lockdown profiles is an area that's making where Oracle's making more and more progress to. But think about, there's there's lots of use cases, but 2 that resonate with all the DBAs is that your developers want the ability to kill sessions. Previously, what we did was we created a script and made them put in a sit and serial and stuff like that. With lockdown profiles, I can give a developer or a junior DBA the alter system command, or not even the alter system, but subset of the alter system command that allows only the kill session option. Also, likewise, for some DBAs, I can say, I want to give my junior DBAs the ability to increase CPU count or decrease CPU counts at night, but only give them that component of the alter system command. And that's done through the lockdown profiles. All right, so talked about patching. So one of the ways that you, by having 3 pluggable databases or more, as we go from, let's say, this is an older slide, 19.3 to 19.10, I can just move the pluggable to a fully patched 19.10 container, and at that point, I just execute the data patch for that pluggable. The same thing goes with upgrading. We definitely do not recommend this approach, but we've had customers that did this. As we went upgraded from 18C to 19C, they moved the pluggable from 18C to 19C, and then they upgraded just the pluggable. Now, this is going to be more the common strategy that most customers use, is they're going to have 3 production databases or 3 UAT databases or 3 development databases. Now, our smaller customers, and this is definitely not a recommended model, they will put 3, they will have, prod, QA, and dev on a single container. It all makes sense until you have to patch or until you have to upgrade. And so, and as customers get to the point where they have to do the upgrade, they will always spin up another container database on another environment and then start moving the dev over and then etc. So from a patching perspective and upgrading perspective, it does definitely simplify administration, upgrade, and resource management. So for example, when I say resource management, when one pluggable database or one server becomes heavily loaded, I can move one PDB to another server that's less loaded. Okay, more PDB stuff. So with PDBs, we can set, for example, a CPU count at the container level. We can set CPU count at each PDB level. The same thing goes with the SGA. Also with PDB, we can set thresholds for maximum IOPS and maximum throughput, megabytes per second. What the CPU min count does is that it sets minimum CPU side. So we have maximum, minimum. We reserve CPUs and we actually protect that PDB from noisy neighbors. And so lots of features that were available in the VMware virtualization side is now available in the PDB side. Fine-grained patching is another one. Now with 23C, you can have different patch levels for the PDBs. Also, with each release of PDBs, we can have different time zones. We can have different character sets. So all these features are there to enable us to consolidate. And the reason why Oracle allows us to use 3 PDBs is that they want you to love it and they want you to actually buy the multi-tenant option. All right, let's talk about high availability consideration. I don't know if you guys, you probably have seen these slides over and over again. Now I can do DML on my active data guard site. So as I do DML, insert, update, delete, the actual DML is redirected to the primary. The primary actually generates a redo, ships the redo to the standby, and they're able to see that data. So that's what it's called, mostly read physical standby. And it's done easily. You can do it at the session level, or you can use the alter system level and do it at the database level. And so from this perspective, it's literally one parameter, ADG, redirect DML. And as you can see, Oracle uses the ADG underscore just to make sure that you understand that this is a active data guard license. And so let's talk about additional 23C, and then we'll talk about some of the things that you need to look for as you do the upgrade. So I mentioned earlier this concept of a redo repository. So it's the ability when you leverage the refreshable pluggable database, you specify a location on the server so that the primary PDB can actually ship archive logs to. And so it minimizes the refreshable pluggable database from going back to the source and pulling the archive logs. So it significantly reduces the refresh time. Also with pluggable databases, we have additional features that they added. Just like when we do a snapshot standby, in 23C, we have this concept of a reconnect refreshable PDB to source. So this is the ability for you to disconnect the pluggable database, open it for read-write, and then reconnect the pluggable database as a standby site. And so it's basically a snapshot standby, but at the PDB level. Another key thing is PDB level at data guard. So the key thing is that I have container 1 and container 2. And let's say that they're on 2 different servers. I can have PDB-A on container 1 have a standby to container 2 on a different server. And likewise, I can have a PDB-B on container 2 on the second server, replicate PDBs back to container 1, server 1. So now it truly lets us allows us to really mix and match PDB across different containers, but more so allows us to actually not allows us. Oracle really is now able to split off at the PDB level, redo information. And another one that they have is read-only per PDB standbys. And they also have this concept of a hybrid read-only as well. So the whole idea is that common users can read-write across PDBs, but everybody else is in read-only mode. This allows them to patch and do maintenance without interfering with other users. Another one that's really interesting to mention is this concept of flashback time travel. And so Oracle has had flashback data archives for a while, but that tracks at the table level. And you can actually see data over time. But now they extended that capability. And then not only can you see at the data level, but now you can actually look at changes at the table level as well, or at the schema level. And so now we're able to look at, you know, the schema level. What did that schema look like a year ago? And so a lot of the compliance requirements will be met with this feature. So as we upgrade, what are some of the checklists that we have to look into? Recycle bin. We always tell our customers to purge the recycle bin. Even if you're not upgrading, purge the recycle bin. And the key thing, especially in production, we've actually seen performance issues when they have heavy workloads and the recycle bin is not purged. We always tell our customers, make sure that all your DBA registry components are valid. Make sure you compile invalids. And the idea is that the amount of registry components before an upgrade and after the upgrade, the valid should match. And for the invalid store procedures packages, the amount of invalids before and after should be equal or less. And so always make sure that you run those. Remove components that you're not using. If you're not using Java, take it out of the database. If you're not using OLAP, Ultra Search, get out of the database. If you're not using EM database control repository, get it out of the database. And the whole idea is that not only will it make your upgrade faster, but it'll also eliminate other potential areas that you can have issues on. And so Java is a big one. If you're not using it, take it out. Just same thing with Apex. Apex is going to be more and more popular, and you're going to see more with Apex going forward. During Cloud World, Larry Ellison did heavily pitch Apex. So now Apex is being presented as a no-code platform, not low code, but no code. And the whole idea is now with generative AI capabilities, you can talk to the Apex environment and say, hey, create me a chart of this for this particular product line, broken down by region and ordered by the sales people. And you can actually tell Apex to generate that chart for you. And they actually demoed that. And with the next evolution of it, you're going to be able to do a lot more. And so there's, from a Apex perspective, it's being presented as no code, and they're saying that it's going to be able to generate a lot of the apps that, that we're looking for. All right, so preserving stats is really important. By default, Oracle preserves 14 days. We'll tell our customers minimum 31 days, so that you can actually go and do a comparison for your month-end job. Some customers will do 90 days to do quarter end, and we actually have a customer that keeps it over a year. It's all it is space, is what they say, and they want to be able to compare year-end performance. And so, and learn how to do and read AWR diffs, right? Guaranteed restore points. There's a misconception out there that you must be using flashback logging. Guaranteed restore points, or GRPs, only require archive logs. So before any update, any upgrade, before any patching, always create GRPs. Obviously, not only do you need to do AWR retention, but also ASH. If you're using real application testing, definitely, capture the workload and test the synthetic workload against a new environment. And in fact, RAT has become more and more popular with some of our customers. We're getting pulled in to do more RAT work lately. For AWR, not only do you capture, but also capture top SQL. You want to be able to capture as much as you can of the queries, so that if there are certain queries that change or deviate plans, that you have them in your repository. From a upgrade perspective, I'm using the pre-upgrade jar here, but you with the auto upgrade, this will actually be replaced with the auto upgrade. Very similar. It'll create you a pre-upgrade fix-up script that you run. This is the manual way. Auto upgrade will handle all this for you automatically. From a pre-upgrade perspective, force logging. That is like the mandatory thing that we tell all of our customers. You must be force logging at the database level. Make sure you have blockchain tracking. And that's mainly because it'll increase significantly your ability to back up faster. And from a blockchain tracking perspective, it's just a minor thing that you said, but you get so much the benefits. And I'm going to just skip through this really quick, and you could read this for yourself, but capturing database links, directories, external tables, your jobs, scheduler jobs. But the key thing is also look at Apex. Also is, I don't know if you guys heard of HCheck SQL, prior versions of the health check at the data dictionary level. And here's the doc ID associated with it. It's really good for EBS customers. And you have to take the output a little bit more, the older versions at least. There's other stuff in there, but it's really good to read. We noticed a lot of our customers that go from 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10, etc. they tend to have dictionary level problems when we do the upgrades. And so we always recommend the HCheck SQL for our customers, but with 23C, Oracle provides a DBMS HCheck. This allows us to perform either a full comprehensive check or just look for critical components that we need to check for the dictionary level. We always tell our customers to make sure you gather dictionary and fixed object stats, especially if you're going to be using data pump. It can significantly reduce your data pump export time. We have different checklists because as we developed this, we had different consultants create the pre-upgrade checklist. And so this one is another consultant that thought of more in terms of diagnostic log information and backup information and whatnot. Inventory, OPATch, registry. Look at your net.aura. Again, we emphasize if you're not using Apex, get rid of it. Look at your hidden parameters. Remove JVM if you're not using it. Look at your ADR, AWR retention policies. Look at your cron tab, Aura tab, IPCS reports, SAR information, etc. So let's talk about auto upgrade. I'm going to skip the DBUA side. Like I said, it's Oracle announced the deprecation of that tool. So we're going to go straight to the auto upgrade. And so from an auto upgrade perspective, make sure you're on the latest Java. You can use the Java from Oracle Home, but we always tell our customers to use update their Java if they can. Now, auto upgrade performs a lot of the tasks that you'll be doing yourself manually, like the pre-upgrade tasks, running the fix-up job, doing the actual upgrade. You can actually schedule the upgrade. You can do one or more upgrades. If it fails, you can have it retried. You can actually change in the .aura parameters in the config file. There's so many things that it does. Very detailed level, what the stages of auto upgrade from setup, pre-upgrade, pre-checks, GRP, pre-fix-ups, drain sessions before we do the actual upgrade, have it actually do the upgrade, post-checks, post-fix-up scripts, and the post-upgrade stuff. And so auto upgrade is comprehensive. And in fact, in the auto upgrade, there's a deploy option if you're doing it on the same server, or there's the upgrade option if you're doing it on a different server from the source. So if you're doing the upgrade in the same server, auto upgrade pretty much does everything, including like copying over your SQLnet.aura, your listener.aura, your TNS, etc. It will do all that for you automatically. The minimal version is 11.204. You can use it to upgrade to 18C, 19C, 12.2, etc. But obviously, if you're doing 11.204 to 23, you have to go to 19C first and do another auto upgrade to 23C. Here's a sample config file. As you can see, we're telling it to do now. Have it run RP, having it run the time zone upgrade, an actual do the analysis, and then do the actual deployment, which is basically upgrading. Sample auto upgrade, again, a little bit more detailed. Here's another one that actually will do the PDB conversion as well. Right, this is more complex for the from a auto upgrade, but it actually does the CDB and PDB conversion as well. All right, Apex. I know I ran over, but I'm going to go as fast as I can. And this will be the last set of slides that we have. As of 18C, Apex is no longer upgraded for you automatically. So DBAs have to execute or upgrade Apex manually, starting with 18C. And the script that we use to upgrade or install Apex is the same script that we use to actually upgrade Apex. All right, so I'm going to end it with that. Let me look at some of the Q&A stuff. Why force PDBs? From a pluggable database perspective, they made the announcement that customers have. So for the longest time, between 12.1 to 19 and 19C even, Oracle is maintaining two sets of co-streams. And so that's one, but also all the enhancements are being made in the PDB side going forward. From a lot of customers are just literally going to PDB for the sake of going to PDB because Oracle mandated it. but I'm actually working with the PDB product management team, and one of the books that I've written with Jim Straczynski is on pluggable databases. But from a Oracle perspective, I'm talking to product management and telling them most of the customers are just going to PDB and that's all they know. They don't know all the cool features that's available in the pluggable database world. I have a separate session that I do on pluggable databases, and that may be something that we can revisit. But I'm partnering with Oracle Product Management. We're going to start evangelizing. Not only do you want to go to PDB, but here's the reasons why. Because there's so many enhancements that's available only in the pluggable database world. What word did you use instead of downtime? We used the word quiesce. And so in the old days, Oracle used to have a command, alter system quiesce. But now it's just a vernacular that we use. And we talk about quiescing the database or quiescing the system. And basically it's saying, I want to find a quiet, low moment where there isn't much activity. And I want to be able to take a point in time capture and from an SCM perspective. Is there any impact on Oracle products on top of Oracle database if we migrate to 23C like Enterprise Manager Control? In fact, as you guys, if you look at Oracle's history, OEM is a little bit behind the database. Now with 23C, as long as it's taking, there may be changes in terms of OEM availability for 23 support. And so historically, if you look at OEM, OEM has always been a little bit later for support of that new version. And also, if you look at from a performance perspective, 23C, I'm sure will have the minimal requirements for space, minimal requirements for CPU, will be a little bit higher than the previous versions. If you create an OCI DBC environment licensed to Oracle, is it still applicable? Okay, so if you create a DBCS environment through OCI, and if that option that you choose has the multi-tenant option included with that license included option, then that 3 PDB limit is not applicable. So from a PDB perspective, on a non-Exadata environment, the maximum number of PDBs is 252. And when I say Exadata, a lot of that applies to cloud as well. And so in the Exadata world, the maximum number of PDBs is 4,096. So the number increases significantly. We never tried an auto upgrade of EBS from 1202 to 19C, but I can pretty much tell you the answer is going to be no. and the reason why is because EBS upgrade path from 12.1 to 19C, you have to follow their specific sets of rules and use their scripts. And so the auto upgrade, even without me having done it or tried it with EBS, I can pretty much tell you it's not going to be. Okay, so Shane, how do I access Shane? All right, so from a Shane AI, right now you can have the version 1 access at oralpub.com. And so free members, I think, can ask it like 1 or 2 questions a day. I forget, there's a limit that you can do. And with different level memberships, you get a lot more access to Shane AI. And so the current release, the UI isn't that as pretty as it should be. And it's also not leveraging a lot of the features that's available in Oracle Cloud. So the large language model, Craig did a really good job teaching it. And the data is private, but we use APIs and we punch into ChatGPT and able to answer questions. And so basically the current version today, what we do is we take your questions that you ask and we actually build a better prompt. And then we ask it, and thus is able to answer questions a lot better than what you would ask. And so now all that's going to be built in, and we'll do a lot more enhancements in the next release. All right, I think that's all the questions. Thank you very much for joining. I really appreciate you guys following. The slides will be available, and so will this recording.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Charles. Great questions today. I know we ran over, so thank you all to those of you who were able to stay with us over the hour. I know that was a lot of information crammed into about an hour of time, so don't forget you can rewatch the video. Coleman and I will let you guys know when you can access that. So check your inbox for something from Coleman or myself or one of my team members. So thank you guys so much. Charles, thank you so much for that hour. We look forward to seeing you present for us again soon, hopefully. Um, I believe, Charles, you're also going to be presenting in person at UTUG training days. If anyone is in the Salt Lake City area, I think you were recently in Denver, but hopefully you guys are still continuing to follow Oracle user groups around the country, any of them near you, and that you are able to go in person and access presenters like Charles, and get to ask these questions in person. There's nothing like it. So be sure to keep conferences on your radar in your area, and hopefully you can come out and visit one of us as well. So thank you again, Charles. Thanks, Coleman, for, as always, partnering with Viscosity in all of our webinars.
All right, thanks everybody.
Bye, take care.